through the high windows of the police station, dusty and unforgiving, as Shreyas and Akshodaya walked toward the holding cells. Their footsteps sounded hollow against the concrete floor. They had barely slept after the chaotic night at the palace, their minds heavy with the weight of the family's crumbling empire. Inside the station, the air was thick, with the smell of old paper and floor cleaner. The brothers stood before the bars of the holding cell, their hearts sinking at the sight of their father. Rohan Oberoi was a shadow of his former self. He sat on the edge of the wooden bench, his designer shirt wrinkled and his hair unkempt. "Dad," Shreyas whispered, reaching out to touch the cold iron bars. Rohan looked up, his eyes bloodshot and desperate. "Did the lawyers call? Is the bail ready? Tell me I'm leaving this place today." Akshodaya looked at the floor, unable to tell his father about the engagement date Priya had forced upon them just hours ago. He couldn't bring himself to mention a celebration while his father sat in a cage. "The inspector, he's gone on medical leave. And the judge is unavailable. Anushka is doing everything she can, Dad, but the system is frozen. We're just here to check on you." Rohan's hands shook as he clutched the bars. "Anushka, she's a blessing," he muttered, his voice cracking. "Tell her to use whatever influence we have left. Just get me out of this hell." Akshodaya nodded silently, the secret of the 4-day deadline burning in his mind like a hot coal. "Rest, Dad. We'll be back soon." As the brothers turned to leave, Anushka stood in the center of the precinct's chaos, a pillar of false strength. She kept her hands firmly on the shoulders of Shreyas and Akshodaya, grounding them as their world splintered. "Stay strong, both of you," she whispered, her voice a soothing balm of deception. "I know this is a shock, but I won't let your family's name be dragged through the mud. I am with you now." The brothers looked up at her, their eyes glassy with desperate gratitude, oblivious to the fact that the woman protecting them was the one who had set the fire. Deep in the bowels of the station, the air was different, heavy with the smell of damp stone and stale sweat. A constable indifferently slid a metal plate of jail rations through the bars of Uncle Rohan's cell. Rohan stared at the grey roti with a face twisted in visceral disgust. He forced a single bite, but his body, nourished on luxury and arrogance, violently rejected it. He retched, the sound echoing off the cold walls. In a sudden, humiliated frenzy, he seized the plate and hurled it through the bars, the metal clanging against the floor. A pair of hands entered the frame, quiet and deliberate. Maya, having slipped away from her persona for a fleeting moment, knelt to pick up the discarded plate. Despite her hatred for the man inside, she pressed the metal to her forehead in a silent prayer to Annapurna Devi, then touched the floor with the reverence born of a middle-class life, where food was never a weapon. She stood, smoothed her clothes, and the humble Maya vanished, replaced once more by the calculating Anushka. Back in the hallway, she smoothed the brothers' concerns with a practiced grace. "I will help you both," she promised, her tone professional and firm. "Don't worry about the business or the house. Focus on your father." As the morning sun climbed higher over the city, Anushka stepped into her car. The bright light cast sharp shadows across her face as she dialed a high-level contact. "Mr. Mayor, it's Anushka," she said, her voice dropping into a lethal, silky command. "I need a favor. I hear the inspector and the judge on the Ratnaparkhi case are feeling a bit ill. I'm sure they'll be fine in a week, but please ensure they are granted a mandatory medical leave of at least 1 month." She hung up and looked at herself in the rearview mirror. Her eyes were no longer those of a protector. They were the eyes of a predator. "I won't let you run, Priya," she thought, a cold smile touching her lips. "With the legal system frozen, Rohan is trapped. These 15 days are more than enough for me to ensure you end up in the cell right next to him." She shifted into gear, and the car roared to life, disappearing into the morning traffic like a silent threat.